Welcome back to the Pain Game YouTube channel. I'm back from Saudi Arabia. I can't wait for you to see the vlog, by the way. I shot loads of footage out there showing you what I got up to so that you can actually see what it's like for a boxing fan in Saudi Arabia and how class it is. And I think you're going to really love this. That's out on Sunday on the True Geordie YouTube channel, by the way. Fucking don't miss that, okay? I rode a camel for you. That's got to be worth a view. If that doesn't get views, what lows do I have to go to? Don't answer that. I'd rather not know what's going on in your heads. But yeah, since I've been away, there's been a lot going on in the fight game. We've got Ryan Garcia getting arrested. Standard week for him then. Eddie Hall beat two dudes up at the same time. I've spent time with Eddie before. That seems like a normal night out for him. Conor McGregor, is he fighting? Isn't he fighting? We'll get onto that one. And Dustin Poirier losing his last fight potentially in the octagon against Islam Makhachev for the title. Heartbreaking stuff for us Poirier fans. But I'm going to start with the fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. What a massive title decider this is. We're going to find out just who Khamzat Chimaev really is in this fight, because Robert Whittaker is tried and tested at the highest level for the best part of a decade, and it's taking place in Saudi Arabia, and I'm going back. I had such a good time. I'm going again. I can't wait to see this fight. It's going to be sick. I might actually try and catch the UFC in Manchester as well, but this one, man, I can't believe I'm getting to go to this one. It's going to be so sick. You see, I want to do more in the arena footage on the Pain Game moving forward and just evolve the channel. I hope you enjoy the content, by the way. If you haven't already, hit the like button, but I'll still do the usual stuff. Don't worry, I'm not going to forget what you came here for. And why I'm so excited about this fight is because of Khamzat Chimaev, right? I'm a fan of Whittaker, don't get me wrong, but I've thought for a long time Khamzat is the next big thing in the UFC. He's just waiting for that one mega star making performance. You know, he had a great performance against Kevin Holland, so dominant, it was ridiculous in fact. But against Burns and Usman, people had some more questions. Yeah, you won, but it wasn't that absolute star making performance that proves you're going to keep dominating this division for time and time to come. And Robert Whittaker feels like the perfect guy to do that against. When you beat Robert Whittaker, you're generally going to become a champion. He doesn't lose to people who don't win belts. It's as simple as that. He's that good. You're only beating him if you're the elite. So we are going to get answers here. And I think what Khamzat struggled with against Burns and Usman were they are very well-rounded fighters. They don't have weaknesses particularly. They've just got areas where they're a bit more stronger in. They're not bad anyway. And they're mentally strong and they won't just give up in the way a lot of people do against Khamzat's pressure. And you look at Robert Whittaker and you think you've spent a long time in that octagon with the best of the best. 25 minutes with Israel Adesanya. This man can hang on the feet with anyone. He's got good takedown defense, which he's going to need, and he's good off his back. But Khamzat Chimaev has made fighters who are good at a lot of things look quite average sometimes. And if you can do that, you are putting the whole division on fucking notice. Khamzat's coming for that belt. And the secret ingredient Khamzat Chimaev has is the level of domination he is capable of dishing out. Only someone like Khabib even, I think I've seen that level of domination where I have seen Khamzat Chimaev win multiple fights, maybe absorbing like one punch between 3 fights. In the UFC, that's not against tin cans, right? This is against proper fighters. Pins them down and breaks them. They don't get a shot. The only time Holland, who I rate as a really good fighter, touched the guy was when they touched gloves before they fucking threw down. He didn't get a shot off, mate. If you do that to Whittaker, that is a fucking statement. And honestly, I think this is going to give Robert Whittaker a lot of answers to who the fuck he is in himself, because surely you are questioning, am I good enough? He's had a couple of losses against the best of the best. There's no shame in that. But for someone who wants to be a champion, that's not good enough for him. And he will be wanting to know, like, am I going to ever get this belt back? And you're going to get the answer in this next fight, mate. Because he kind of looked like he gave up a little bit against Duplessis. Now, don't get me wrong. He got cracked in that fight, and there's no shame in that. But do you really want this? Because if there's anyone who's ever going to test that in you, it is Khamzat Chimaev. The willpower he has is so overwhelming for other men, it's absurd. You know, he's not even that much bigger than these guys, but the way he just throws them around, it's humiliating, actually. It's like, it's that bad. Like, Kevin Holland could not have come out of that octagon feeling good about himself for a long time. That was worse than getting knocked out cold. I'd rather take the knockout. He actually does knock people out cold by his way as well. Fuck me. One punch, 20 seconds, one dude just out fucking smoked them. That is more preferable than getting big brothered like that and made to feel like less of a man. Like, this guy is a humiliator of a fighter. Fuck me. And Robert Whittaker doesn't like to press the action like that, so he better be fucking prepared, because mark my words, on June 22nd, there's a fucking storm coming to Saudi Arabia, and its name is Storm Chimaev, and I'm going to be there witnessing it. I hope. I can't fucking wait. But I do have to get on to the sad news of Dustin Poirier's defeat defeat against Islam Makhachev last weekend. My God. It's like watching your dog get knocked over by a cow. Watching Dustin Poirier lose another title fight. I can't keep doing this. It's not good for me. And honestly, it's always staggered me how Dustin Poirier has managed to maintain what is a physical prime for like 10 fucking years. He's just been that good for the longest time. It's a joke, but he aged. And I seen it in this fight. And he just didn't look the same fighter anymore. He came for a back and forth where, you know, I'm going to attack you, I'm going to take a break, you're going to attack me, you're going to take, you know what I mean? And we're going to trade. Islam was not on that shit. He was coming full steam ahead like a fucking train. And he put Dustin Poirier in a state of mind that totally fucked his game. And it was eerily similar, sorry for everyone who complains that I mentioned McGregor too much, to Khabib versus McGregor. Khabib knew this guy can hurt me on the feet. I'm going to make sure I get you down in the first round and I'm going to change who you are. And from the second he got back up with McGregor and Poirier, they weren't the same guy. These fighters who are normally sharp on the feet and used to gauging distance and snapping with each punch, he was second guessing everything. He was reacting to Islam Makhachev. He wasn't asserting any dominance at all. He was breathing heavy. His shots had very little behind them early in the fight. And while Poirier was reacting, Islam was creating. And he was in the driver's seat of this fight from the word go. And that's where you have to just appreciate greatness, because Islam is great. And it's weird because I don't think he gets that level of credit because he's kind of viewed as Khabib's little brother. Even now, after winning so many big moments and big fights, I think Khabib was more of an imposing character, personality-wise. Islam, not as much. So I think that played into the aura of Khabib. And it made you rate him even higher than Islam, right? And it maybe is a better fighter than Islam. For me, he probably is just about. But to sort of look at Islam still in the shadow of Khabib just feels so wrong, because even he's displayed things that even Khabib we didn't see that from. Like his stand-up is better than Khabib's was. No doubt in my mind. Don't get me wrong, Khabib maybe was like more effective in ways because he had a granite chin and he just walked forward and just smashed into you. But in terms of technique, Islam's got way better technique on the feet. That's not even up for debate in my opinion. And I know I said Khabib's a better fighter, but the point is Islam has earned his flowers, man. When you dominate a well-rounded fighter like Dustin Poirier like that, and then choke him out after you've just head-kicked Volkanovski to death, who was the pound-for-pound number one, by the way, that should have been an automatic. There you go, you're pound for pound number one. Now, he is pound for pound number one in my opinion. I know Dana's been saying John Jones, this, that and the other. It's Islam for me. As much as I'm not a fan of Jones, I respect. Everyone can put John Jones at number one if they want, right? Because he's done a lot. But a lot of the best performances of John Jones were a while ago now. And Islam has been doing work for a fucking good while. Anyone who says Islam is pound for pound number one, no one can have an argument against it. You can just say, oh, this fighter might be better. You can't ever put a thing Islam Makhachev does down. He's fucking amazing. And if Islam goes and does what he says and fights for the 170 belt as well as the 155, and if he wins it, then we're talking serious legacy chat now. Because I think only BJ Penn has had the 155 and 170 belts. They are too hard weight classes to conquer because you're talking a big jump, like 145 to 155, not such a big jump. That is where you get people boiling down from huge weights, and it's a real fucking challenge to do 155 and 170. That is wild. And as for Dustin, I just hope he can let it go. He didn't win the title. He won the interim title. He had a load of amazing moments. You've just got to look at the body of work he put together and go, I'm one of the greatest to ever do it. That's enough. He was in one of the most stacked weight classes ever, where you're behind people like McGregor, Khabib, Islam. Fucking hell, mate. Pound for pound, he is so much better than many fighters who've won belts. And the wins he has speak for themselves, and he's a Hall of Famer. And I just hope that he can just live with it and just say, yeah, I did all right there. Like, fuck me, what a ride, you know? And rather than eating away at him, because some fighters, no doubt in my mind, it fucking hurts years and years later when you're watching that moment that you could have been champion. Oh, fuck me, it must sting. But I think being a UFC Hall of Famer is pretty cool, like. So I hope he can let that rest. On to Conor McGregor, who's got a mega fight coming up soon. Or has he? Well, it was a little bit touch and go. It felt for a second because the UFC cancelled the Dublin press conference, which was scheduled to have about 10,000 people there. That would have been so fun to watch. I've got to be honest, like vintage Conor McGregor in front of his home crowd, it would have just really broken brought the vibes back that the man is back. When they cancelled that, naturally, a lot of people were like, whoa. You don't cancel the Conor McGregor press conference. Something's not right here. And then a lot of the advertising videos and the options to buy the fight, I think, were removed from certain places like Prime and YouTube, and the conspiracy theorists went into fucking meltdown, and rightly so. Like, you understand that Conor McGregor's promotion doesn't get cancelled. He is the guy. Even now, the gate for McGregor versus Chandler, even though Chandler isn't a champion, McGregor hasn't had a fight for 3 years, it's going to break records. It doesn't matter. He's still the most talked about guy in the whole of MMA. And what I will give the UFC credit for is they kept this in-house. If there was a wobble, which it feels like there might have been, they didn't let anything out. And no journalist said, oh, this fight's off, da-da-da-da-da. No one knew fuck all. McGregor then posts a picture of himself in what looks like a doctor's surgery hospital environment with his leg, thumbs up sort of thing. Then everything seemed fine again. So maybe there's a situation where McGregor had a little wobble in training, which for the level of comeback he's making, I don't blame him. And it's awkward when you're McGregor, because he's been pointing fingers for quite a few years saying, pull out merchant. And he's sort of lived and breathed off the fact of, I never pull out. When I sign, I'm turning up unless I'm a fucking zombie. And I do respect it, but it puts you in a dodgy position if you do get a legitimate injury. So if he is fighting through something, which many fighters do, credit to him, but the main thing is, it looks like Conor McGregor is showing up on fight night against Michael Chandler. And I honestly can't wait for that fight, because I'm fascinated to know, what is he going to look like? 3 years of inactivity for any fighter is brutal. It's going to be hard for him. And he's in there with a live dog against Chandler, not to mention the leg break. So if he does come back and win in style, I'm not going to hate on the guy. Even though I've said things and I criticise them, genuinely, that's fucking fair play if he does that. And even just to get back in the octagon is fair fucks, to be fair. Now on to Eddie Hall, who may just about have killed someone last weekend. We haven't heard back from the medical teams, but he got in the cage with two dudes who are about 150 pounds each. I think that's about 11 stone if you're a UK person out there. Let's see what he did to them. They're really... Fuck me. Whoa, you bastard. Boom! And down you go. That was absolutely wild. I don't know anything about this other than that was violent. And it is quite funny, because Eddie's literally lifting this guy up and getting hit at the same time, and he's not even feeling the punches. Catches him coming back. Down you go, son. Jesus Christ. And what I love about this is the fact that we always hear about what bodybuilders and weightlifters can't do in a fight, right? And I get it. Like, when we're comparing them to MMA fighters, boxers, that is fine. That makes perfect sense. But people always massively undersell the value of just being big and strong as fuck. And no one displays that better than Eddie fucking Hall. He threw this man up and down like a carrier bag. So yeah, Eddie getting one back for the big lads. Proud. You show those little fuckers who's boss. Get up there. It just is literally mad how he's just dragging them like, whoop, yeah, fucker, get in. Who sanctioned this? I don't even know. And if that wasn't chaotic enough, let's talk about Ryan Garcia's personal life. Remember back when he beat Devin Haney and he says, I fooled you. Got you. You think I'm crazy? You're all idiots. I didn't buy it at the time. I said, look, I do think that some of this was a bit of a joke for him, but then he's genuinely mental. Unfortunately, it would seem I was right. So TMZ reported on it, of course, and here's Ryan being led away in cuffs by the cops wearing a bike helmet, weirdly. Maybe he was doing a bit of sparring in it. That would probably help the old chin. So according to the article, Ryan was taken to the hospital for evaluation and treatment and may be charged with public intoxication. He's also been arrested for felony vandalism at the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills, the hotel. So apparently he was damaging property at the hotel, including his room and the hallway. So he's clearly just thought, fuck it, I'm a rock star here. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Now, unfortunately for Ryan, if it's over 400 quid's worth of damage, it can be considered a felony, which means jail, motherfucker. Now, if I'm Ryan Garcia, I'm not going to lie to you, the last place I'd want to go to is jail. I mean, even for me, I don't want to go. But especially if you're as pretty as Ryan Garcia, his arsehole would look like a Japanese flag after a week. Sorry, but it's true, innit? So Ryan's put a video out which might give a bit of context.
I'm not okay anymore. Soon my TikTok will be deleted. They're gonna try to put me in jail. And they're gonna kill me.
If I was him, I'd be focusing on the being killed bit that he's just mentioned at the end there. He lists TikTok first. No, being killed is priority, bro, because losing your TikTok, that's not really that big of a deal by comparison.
I'm not okay anymore.
He does look a bit not okay, doesn't he? Fuck me.
Soon my TikTok will be deleted. They're gonna try to put me in jail. And and they're gonna kill me.
And here's the thing, he said he was joking when he was doing all this shit initially, and it was all one big hoax to get us to buy the fight. The fight's been and gone. Why are you talking like this? Like, they're gonna kill you and take away your TikTok. Like, why are you doing that now? Because A, you're not selling anything. B, it's fucking boring. Like, it's every day now, there's something new. Like, I'm beginning to not give a fuck. And that's the last thing you want for me to feel as an entertainer is just meh. But it loses its impact when it's every fucking week and you're just on the sesh, mate. And as a fan, I don't want this guy to be fucking pissing his life away doing dumb shit like this. I'd rather him be looked after. And it does seem like this is still escalating somewhat here. And look, one thing that probably isn't helping is the fact that it's just been announced his mother has cancer, which obviously is brutal. They're a close family, and I can only imagine the pain this kid is going through right now. And like people do, they turn to things, right? But he's been turning to things before this. And something as bad as his mother having cancer, fucking hell. We got to keep an eye on this lad. If people around him aren't vigilant because of the way he is, this could go really bad. So they better be careful. Apparently this is a video to do with it.
We are the temple, you are the...
So clearly the kid's in a lot of pain, and he's tweeted, if my mom dies, I'm going with her, which is a fucking serious thing to say, right? You think about the level of chaos he has in his life, the fact that this man's a pro fighter and clearly mentally in a bad way, as well as going through circumstantial difficulties with his mother. If he takes a fight now, what the fuck is that going to be like? Is he going to deliver? And is he going to show greatness again? Is he going to shock us again? And the fights he's talking about doing are fucking not easy. And I know a lot of you lot will have differences of opinion on Ryan's character due to the failed drugs tests. Now, recently, he did submit his supplements that he was taking on the run-up to the fight, and they tested positive for ostarine, which is what he tested positive for. The issue is, he'd already opened them because he was using them, and therefore there is the possibility he could have just contaminated them with ostarine after he was caught. I'm not so sure I think that's what happened. There's just something weird about this whole situation, and I'm a bit more in the middle than what I have been in the past with it. But whatever you all think of that situation, I'm sure we'll all agree that we're all wishing the family the best for his mother's battle with cancer. Fingers crossed she pulls through and she's all right. Don't forget, before I go, hit the like and subscribe button because we have so much content coming up. I can't wait to make more videos about the Khamzat versus Whittaker fight. I will try and do a live stream again while I'm out there. Fingers crossed we can pull that together for you lot. Appreciate all of the support as always, and I'll see you on the next one.